Back to the Breakfast Express on Mitv Plus. We took a quick break and we're right back. I told you there'll be more for you on the program. We have our first discussion, and Okpayemi will take that.
Well, still discussing security, or let me put it this way, that insecurity for Plateau and Kaduna killings, the way forward. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has ordered security operatives to go after the masterminds of the killings in Plateau and Kaduna, describing the incident as barbaric and cowardly. Gunmen killed about 28 persons in Angwan district in Jos, Plateau State on Sunday. Some assailant attacked a village in Kagako local government area of Kaduna State, leaving several people dead. The Senate had ordered a full-scale investigation into the recent killings in Plateau State and is dispatching a high-level delegation to sympathize with the affected communities. The Senate also directed the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to launch a comprehensive probe into the attack in Angwarukuba in Jos, under the Jos North local government, where at least 28 people were killed. Okay. And that will form one of the biggest stories that we've covered the entire week, because this unfortunate killing happened late on Sunday night, where, you know, people of that community, a community I'm very familiar with, by the way, you know, it's always an evening where people come out, relax, you know, it's quite a lot of University of Jos students really stay in Angwarukuba community, especially around that Tina Junction, where, you know, like the commercial hub of the entire community. Is this a story we've heard before? Probe the attack, bring the perpetrators to books, send high-level delegation, just like you corrected the headline on the newspaper, summon the governor, and then we'll bring perpetrators to books. Are we not done? Are we not tired of hearing these same stories over and over again each time these attacks happen?
Perhaps the question you should ask is, do we have any shame, really, in Nigeria? Because if we do have shame, we all are intelligent enough to know that you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. No, that's not going to happen. You know, it's just not going to happen anyway. So why don't we, for a change, you know, first of all, consider the Nigerian people as people with some sort of intelligence, such that they may at this point be getting tired of the same lines that you read to them, the same lines that you recite to them, the same words that you speak to them. Every time there's a tragedy, you're just saying the same thing. And Okpayemi so rightly put it yesterday, was so apt when he said it's as if there's a written document somewhere that you just bring out and clean up, you know, depending on the situation, so that it's applicable to that particular circumstance or situation. Nigerians are tired. We've been long tired. But you see, at some point, when people get tired of hearing the same thing, they just keep quiet. And you are thinking, oh, you've gotten through to them. They're foolish enough to have taken everything you said. But guess what they're thinking? They're thinking that perhaps this government can't do any better. Perhaps this government is not even intelligent after all. Perhaps this government has nothing to offer us. Perhaps this government that claimed that they were coming with a change don't even understand the meaning of change, don't even know what to do in a situation where they need, you know, to exemplify change. You know, the people are looking at you in those same eyes that you seem to be looking at them. It's time for the government to take action. It's time for the government to do something. This is getting irritating. Honestly, we don't want you to keep throwing your weight and throwing yourselves up and down. We've seen people with weight move. We've seen people who have heavy words speak. We've seen all sorts of things. So nothing is going to bamboozle us anyway. What we want you to do is take action. We want to see the action. We want to have empirical evidence that, yes, this government said they were bringing change. They have brought change. because they have done XYZ. We have empirical evidence to show the outside world, the international communities, that this government is actually working because they've done this in this area, they've done that. But when we're doing the same thing every day, all day, every week, month in, year out, it just tells me that we're exhausted. The government is exhausted and we want to go for a second term. That's what you're telling the people. We need you to act. We need you to protect lives and property. That is the mandate that has been given to you. When you came out and said you wanted us to vote for you, we voted for you because we believed that that was what you were going to do. You're going to protect us. You gave a lot of people food for 1 day, for 2 days, for 1 week, for a limited time. You gave them money for a limited time. So they thought that if you could do that, that was the tip of the iceberg. You had so much more in stock for them. But then you now come in and nothing is happening. They're so expectant because of the way you were lavishing this thing up and down. And then nothing is happening. Nothing is happening from day 1 to day 2. The week, the month, the year, nothing is happening really. Something is wrong. We need the government to act. These killings cannot continue. We can't continue to lose our lives.
It breaks my heart.
One more thing, sir. When you push a human being, you keep pushing and pushing. One day, you'll push that human being to the wall. Now, when one's back is up against the wall, there's only one way to go. They're going to charge back. So we don't want we don't want people to get to that point. Can you remember what happened in the Philippines decades ago? The entire nation came out on the streets and said, kill as many as you can. That was a revolution. We don't want a revolution to happen in Nigeria, but that may be what will happen if we're not careful.
I think in our own situation, I don't want to say we are a subdued people, because it looks like in other cases, when you get pushed to the wall, you turn around and charge. But for Nigerians, it seems we always have a way to break through that wall and just allow ourselves to keep getting pushed. Because I'm going to ask, these killings didn't start today.
No.
It didn't start 5 years ago. No. It didn't start 10 years ago. It didn't start 15 years ago. We battled through insurgency, to banditry, to herdsmen, to communal clashes, to armed robbery, to cattle rustling. It's a stage by stage. And at different times, the government comes up with almost the same way. And just like you said, it's only fools that does things the same way and expect a different result. Fine, the government said they've used both kinetic and non-kinetic. They've mobilized, they've offered peace deals, they've offered amnesty, they've offered submit your weapons. They've done so many other things, even plea bargaining with terrorists, which is quite unusual. But again, I've always said it. If you don't know how to fix a problem, stop putting in different things that will give you more problems. In this part of the world, we are creating more problems trying to solve a problem. And that's what we always do. So if you pay bandits ransom, you think you are securing the life of people, but you are empowering the bandits to buy more weapons, to come back and kidnap more people. Have you observed the trait in the last few years? They're no longer taking 10, 20 people. So they take 150, 70, 90, 300. They go to a school and clear everyone in the dormitory, because they know that if you are also negotiating, we also need human shield. So it looks like the bandits and the criminals are ahead of us. I had a session with Shegumi in November last year, and one of the things he said was that there's no solution to this problem that the government are not aware of.
There you go.
And that is a fact.
There you go.
He said there's no solution to these problems that the government are not aware of. How do you face the same problem for over 15 years and you still tell us to our faces that you don't have a solution to these problems?
Okay, so I would love to respond at this point. I remember I said to you that we don't, the social media does not need to tell the president what's going on. He already knows. He knows. So, I mean, this is just a confirmation. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, You said it seems like the Nigerian people would even go through the war. I don't quite agree with that. But rather, I would say that Nigerians are extremely resilient people. Yes. Listen to me. They're extremely resilient people. But you and I don't know the point at which they will snap. Now, when the youths came out and did the NSAS, were we expecting it?
No.
That's what I'm saying. You see, we cannot with our physical eyes see the mind of people, see the minds of people, and know that, okay, this person is about to snap. This person is about to get to the peak of her resilience, or to the end, the stretch of her resilience. She's going to snap very soon. We're talking about a heart attack device, you know, that kind of thing. There's no device that tells us this is at this point. So because we've been taking it for 10, 15, 20 years and all of that, it's going to come. It will come, but we just don't know when. That's the thing. We don't know when, because there's really so much one can take. Now, the lazy option is to commit suicide. Now, when you see people committing suicide, they just think it can never get any better. They're at their wits' end. You understand? They just think, I'm done. I can't. And you know, they just believe they cannot fight the government. But there are some people who would say, I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand strong, and I'm going to stand tall, and I'm going to match you toe for toe. Do you understand? We don't want to get to that point, because we've reached that point a couple of times, you know, but with wisdom, you know, we were able to handle it and have a smooth sail. But we may not be lucky if it happens again. And that's why I'm saying the government needs to do something now. Whether we don't want you to say something. In fact, you know, they say something, do something. No, we don't want you, the government, to say something anymore. In fact, don't even say anything, but just do it.
Just do.
Just do it. Just do it. Just keep our people safe. I mean, I understand. I didn't watch it, but some people are talking about a woman whose child was killed, and she was carrying that child. I don't even want to see.
And she kept telling the child that you're not dead. She kept calling the child's name.
I don't want to see that video.
And I think that image and that video had become a face of a broken people, a people that have lost faith, lost trust in a system that is supposed to protect them. I've seen the video, and the video is she spoke in a language I understand. Just telling the boy, calling his name, that promise, stay with me, don't go anywhere. It was obvious that the child was dead.
I mean, how do you see such a video and still feel normal, and still be saying the same thing that was said the day the incident happened? I don't know if you get my point. Okay, I mean, the same words that they spoke the day this incident happened is the same words they're still speaking in different. They're just rearranging the words, because by now we shouldn't even be hearing anything. We should be seeing the action. Because I don't want to watch that video, because that video may move me into action, and I don't want to lead a team. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is really, really very touching, and the government must intervene in this. Now listen, there's absolutely nothing wrong if you don't have a clue how to go about certain things. Nobody knows it all. Nobody knows it all. Yesterday, when you were talking about the Just incident and the way you were pronouncing the names, I knew that you were very conversant. Even before you told me how you had stayed there and everything, I knew, because it just came like that. I can't call those names like that. I've been a broadcaster for over 4 decades. Do you understand what I'm saying? And guess what? On this table, I've heard different pronunciations of the governor's name. On this table, on air, I asked you, I said, what is the right pronunciation? Why? Because no individual has the monopoly of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And so I think it is a humble thing to be able to ask.
See, I've done all of these things.
I don't.
There's no result.
There's no result.
How can we
go about it? Or perhaps I should just step aside. If someone else knows how to do it better, please come on board or join me. There's nothing wrong with that. That's so honorable to do. But we don't know the meaning of being honorable.
Honorable.
That's the problem.
All right, let's go to the other story, and this time
Oh, okay.
around, probably has to do with money and budgets and
Okay.
borrowing this time around. Even though we don't always see what they use all the borrowings and the borrowings to do, but the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has seeks to
Oh,
increase the 2026 budget from 58.4 trillion to 67.4 trillion. Want to lead us into the conversation?
well, you take the story. You already started taking the story, so
Okay, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has written to the National Assembly requesting adjustment to the 2026 appropriation bill, proposing an increase of 9 trillion to raise the total budget from 58.4 trillion to 67.4 trillion. He outlined three key objectives behind the request, including a regularized an account of outstanding legal commitment carried over from previous appropriation cycle, preventing them from burdening the execution of the 2026 budget. The House of Representatives had approved a 68.30 trillion budget for the 2026 fiscal year, exceeding President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's initial proposal of 58.47 trillion by 9.81 trillion, even as fresh political realignment reshaped the composition of the Green Chamber. We are boring again.
well, we already discussed that really almost in full, so whatever we're going to say will be maybe a repetition. So within a few minutes, we can just very quickly discuss it. One of the things that I recommended is that government needs to be accountable and very transparent, with us. Don't say, oh, they can never understand. Don't limit your people. I mean, your people. So you limit your people when it comes to being accountable and transparent, but you don't limit them when you need them to come to the polls or to pay taxes. You see, we need to. You see, there's nothing like carrying your people along. When you carry the people along, they know what you're doing. These same people will be able to stand on your behalf to say, this is the government of our choice. This is the government that we want because they are doing this, and this. But in a situation where at some point the people don't understand, they don't understand the ledgers, they don't understand the books, they can't read the books. Okay, but what if you speak to them? What if you tell them that these monies that you took in year 2023, year 2024, this is what you used the money for, this is what was left from the money, this is what you added to the money, this is how you expended it, this is what you need now, and all of that. If there's a proper breakdown as to how they spend this money, if there's transparency, if there's clarity, if there's accountability, we're coming back to you because this is your money we're spending, and so we need to give you a breakdown. Here is the breakdown of how we've spent the money. But right now we may be needing some more money. We don't have it in our coffers, so we want to take a loan. All of that put together makes one. It's holistic, once we are carried along and we understand what the government is doing with our money. I tell you, even before the government asks, the people will say, from what we read, we have a lot. You may need to borrow. Do you understand? We have a lot of people who like these details, who are able to interpret and and read this minutest details and say, oh, from what I read, I have a cousin like that. He's an accountant. His head is on fire. This man is over 70. I don't understand the man. He doesn't pick a calculator to calculate anything, but give him whatever calculation it is on the spot. Boyvi Lawson, on the spot, he will tell you. So there are people like that will look at the books, the papers and everything and say, you know what, this government, for it to reach the end of 2026, we need to borrow more.
I absolutely agree with you. It's basically just asking the right questions. And in this case, I don't even think Nigerians need to ask. You're borrowing money to take care of me. And let me know how much you are borrowing. Because at the end of the day, some of you will leave this debt behind. We are the one that will come back
And
and pay this
for
debt.
it.
Because like I said, we could be lucky to get debt relief like we did with Paris Club and all of that. But whether we like it or not, majority of the debt that we're owing right now, we pay them in one way or the other. And that's the problem that we have right now. The government needs to be transparent with the people. Like I said, there's no crime in borrowing. Nobody is saying you shouldn't borrow money.
Every country borrows.
Countries in the world are indebted at different levels. But if you are borrowing to fix infrastructure, don't divert that money into something else. If you're borrowing to fix security, don't divert it into something else. If you're borrowing to subsidize electricity or health, make sure that is what you're using it for. So that when the people see the need to borrow, they will also see the result of the previous ones you've gone to collect. But we keep accumulating 155 trillion naira debt. It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, especially when these same people whose money you're spending, they can't feel the effect of it.
No public infrastructure, no public transportation, no health, education is not in the
because you are our leaders, you sit on your table, determine what you feel is best for us. And those things are in your favor, not in our favor. I think we need to try a different approach. You know, okay, I mean, I was just thinking that sometimes, maybe every once in a long time, there's nothing wrong in doing a survey. Okay, Nigerians, we're looking at fixing our power, we're looking at taking charge of security, and we're also looking to ensure that our health services are top notch. We're going to be doing a poll. You know, we want you to tell us, you know, we're going to be sending, just as we send for census, we send officials and officers around for census. We're going to be sending people, you know, to take opinions. Let's just do like a poll. There's nothing wrong. Do you know how happy the people will feel? Okay, we think that we should make health a priority, and then security, and then power or something. But the fact that they have participated in making that choice. They're not going to be able to grumble or say, oh, we don't have light. But you said we should take this first.
Before this one.
You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying not saying go this route, but I'm saying that it's something to ponder on. And what is the something to ponder on? Not what I have said, but what I am suggesting, that you take a completely different approach. Think out of the box. Do you understand? Think out of the box and come up. And, you know, carry your people along. When you carry your people along, I promise you can never go wrong.
You have to first acknowledge that you're in a box. You think outside of that box.
That's
and
true.
Secondly, and for what you suggested, which is absolutely amazing, I think that should be the responsibility of the lawmakers. That is the reason why we have 109 senators, we have 360 reps members, we have lawmakers at the various state houses of assembly. So what happens to constituency conversation?
Exactly.
What happens to town hall meetings?
Exactly.
What happens to reaching out to your constituents? What are your priorities? So that when the people need electricity, you don't donate a grinding machine for them.
Exactly.
When the people need transformer, you don't donate
hand machines and generators.
You
all
need
those
to go to your people and prioritize their needs. That's why we have lawmakers. The lawmaker representing my senatorial district is supposed to speak to me and say, listen, what do you people need under this senatorial zone? Let us put it as a priority. An aggregate of all of this is pushed to the government. Listen, you have spoken to the people. 65% of the population want us to leave the coastal road and focus on power. 22% want us to focus on power and forget security for now. I think that will guide decisions.
Exactly.
That will guide policies. That will guide where the government knows that this year, 2027, we want to focus on fixing power. 2028, we want to focus on fixing roads and public infrastructures. Governance is not rocket science. The countries where things are functional, they don't have two heads. It's basically just reaching out to the people. You are representing the people, so you should do what the people want. You are a public servant. You are serving me. So you should not, it's just that you employing me to, and I'll be the one telling you what I want to do. No. You are the one employing me. You should tell me what you want me to do. So if I'm employing a politician, I should be telling the politician that these are the things I want you to do. It's as simple as that.
Well, I guess that's the much we can take on this segment. We need to round up right now because we're going to be having guests on the next segment. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, there's more for you on the Breakfast Express MITV Plus.
That shouldn't take that long.